Rising along with the sun is the father.
And this is maybe my most favorite time of the day.
The time spent checking on the family farm near Keensburg. The time doing things a certain way for Mark Arnish.
I try to do this 3 times a week. Every crop, every field.
Rising along with the father is the son, Brett Arnish.
I'm farming with my best friend.
Best friend.
Strangers.
I found him on the side of the road one time.
I adopted him, actually.
A best friend with a better way.
My story's a little bit different. I did never want to come back to the farm.
These are pictures of our family's history, the tradition that is our farm. And
The Arnish family
Grandpa, my grandma, my Uncle Nick.
first started growing sugar beets here in the 1950s.
Agriculture is deeply, deeply rooted in history and tradition.
Brett initially did not want to come back until he discovered what technology can do for certain ways on the farm.
Yeah, so what we have here is a soil moisture probe.
A solar-powered sensor tracking and sending data to their phones.
You know, the alfalfa crop, you know, maybe to the common eye might look like it's doing fine. Well, actually, we can tell you exactly what it's doing all the way down to 3 feet under the soil.
It took us a little while to understand this, and I challenged Brett hard of, look, I'm not going to depend upon a machine to tell me how to farm.
He initially views it as, well, I've been farming wrong. And that's not the truth. You know, now we're farming better.
The key, Brett says, is using precious water as efficiently as possible.
We used to start irrigating corn on the 4th of July. Why? Because we always irrigate corn on the 4th of July.
Now, the soil moisture probes tell them exactly when to let the sprinklers flow.
How much water is being taken up by the crop, how much water is being applied by the sprinkler, and how much is just evaporating from the sun.
He pushed back hard and said, you got to trust the technology, you got to trust the process. And at the end of the day, he was right.
Mark says information with intuition changes everything.
That's been the best innovation in my farming career. For the first time, not only can we see inside the soil profile, we can actually see inside the plant.
Now they're working to have the probe communicate with the automated moving sprinkler.
Where the two technologies can talk together and speed up and slow down the pivot as it goes through the field.
Farming is no longer being done the way it used to be. When the tractor starts to plow,
You can literally see him moving through the field.
Mark can monitor the progress and use of fuel.
I can even ping the equipment so that I can actually look at his screen.
When Mark goes to check the grain bins,
I can view them, and I mean, we're a mile and a half away.
Brett can monitor the temperature inside to make sure buyers aren't disappointed.
Because consistency is key for them.
When it's harvest time, Brett can see the crop yield as the machine goes through the field.
But we can see on the inside there where the green is, that those are maybe our most productive acres.
And drones are available to spray crops over large distances. Technology allows them to run a 2,000-acre farm with just a few workers. A father
It's smart to pivot.
learning from a son,
Big TikTok guy, I'm sure.
the farm of the past transformed into the farm of the future.
I think these pictures on the wall are always a constant reminder of where we've been.
Technology isn't everything. It's a lot now, but we still have to be a farmer.
And there's just some things a computer cannot do.
That is definitely the smell test.
With photojournalist Foster Gaines, Nelson Garcia, 9 News.
Some of these cuts are deeper cuts, so I'm not going to try and break them out.
The bond between passion and pain can be found. Scored in glass.
This one's going to be quite a challenge.
Jay Gruters is a stained glass artist.
Let's see here. Had sort of a knack for it and just started doing it.
He's also a husband in grief.
We had a really good life together. She's a wonderful person. She's very outgoing and kind of person that connected with everybody.
Jay and Fran Gruters lived in Estes Park together for decades.
We both liked the mountains. We wanted to live up here. It's not an easy place to live. Hard to make a living.
Hiking was her passion.
And she's actually hiked all the trails in the park.
Stained glass
I look at these now and think, how did I ever do these?
was his.
I'm amazed by it, really.
Jay made windows for churches all around the Estes Park area.
So I did the face where I actually drilled out the mouth.
He created his art for nearly 50 years.
A lot of people are quite touched by the glass.
Until he had to stop. Fran was diagnosed with ALS, causing her to lose functions of all her muscles. Jay's passion became caring for his wife.
It gets to where it's hard to walk, hard to swallow. Had to put a feeding tube in her stomach.
In May, she was called to be with God.
Words can hardly express what it's like sitting there watching somebody pass away in front of you. You know you're never going to see him again.
What he can't express in words, he can express in art.
I usually do my own designs, but this was something special.
Instead of making something serious.
So the front of it says, "I love you," and then it opened up and he says, "Something fierce."
Jay is making something special, a card he gave Fran.
And it says, "All my love to Fran. Happy Valentine's Day and birthday. Love, Jay."
She gave it back to him the next year, and they passed it back and forth every February 14th.
Probably 20 years or more.
And now, he's giving it back to her one final time.
This is the one that sort of in memory of her. I've always wanted to do it, and I thought, well, I think I'll try it and see. Okay.
It joins his art outside the room he shared with Fran at the Good Samaritan Society in Estes Park.
It's worth the extra work. And it came out good.
A work of love that's more important to Jay than 50 years of work combined.
The others are a lot of fun and mean different things, but this one has a lot of special meaning to it. Oh, she'd love it. She knows I wanted to do it.
Passion, healing pain.
So this is sort of a memorial to her.
Through the bonds of panes of glass.
She'd probably just cry with happiness.
Money, 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 money.
2 is better than 1 when it comes to chess and trash talk.
Well, I do well in out of state, you don't.
Haha, very funny.
Griffin McConnell
I'm playing my brother, and
has taken on his younger brother Sullivan thousands of times.
not good things are happening. Some chess players like to kick the other player beneath the board just to anger them.
And they're as nice.
Now's when I gotta start kicking you, buddy.
As nice
Here it comes.
as brothers can
The
be.
mood lighting is so that Griffin gets distracted, and then I win.
A moment where I thought Sullivan was really good. Like,
Oh, how dare you!
we don't want to play crazy chess.
No, that's your forte.
When they're tired of playing each other, they come out to the 16th Street Mall
That's a really good move.
to show off their talents
I want to do more. See where it gets help.
and to learn to deal with distractions.
Where
Griffin and Sullivan have won so many tournaments.
I'm shaking over here, man.
They've beaten so many players.
There are gambits in the French.
They've both earned the rare rank of national master.
I have to slowly try to constrict him like an anaconda because if I give him one open shot, he'll bite me like a shark.
He'll talk a different kind of trash.
you can't really say, hey, I'm national master, and don't forget, I have half a brain.
When Griffin was 4, he started having severe seizures.
It's not like very short, like 1 minute. It can be 20 to 30 minutes.
Griffin would be totally fine, and then he wouldn't be fine. It was very strange.
It was like everything is so out of control.
It impacted their relationship.
I learned very quickly I didn't want to watch.
A grand mal seizure is the biggest seizure you can have.
It got so bad. Griffin was going to die at 8 years old. He was saved by surgery that severed the connection between his right and left brain.
When you have half of your brain disconnected, you have to relearn everything like Griffin did.
That I wanted to do chess before I even talked or even walked.
Using half his brain had a permanent impact.
If I don't have my brace on, then my ankle is like floppy.
His right leg and right arm became weak, and Griffin is now blind
Like right here,
in his right eye.
I still can't see.
But the seizures stopped.
Left hand versus left hand.
The chess continued
Didn't see that coming, did you?
until Griffin's problems resurfaced years later.
I was a lot more worried this time.
Griffin needed one more surgery that could have killed him.
It's still amazing to me when I look at these scans just because the white part is all the empty space.
The entire left side was removed,
I have half a brain.
proving for Griffin half is better than 1.
It's like it's finally over. Like, we can finally say, okay, the seizures are gone.
For like my speech before I destroy you all.
It's been more than a year.
Are you ready?
Griffin has grown strong enough, he's now teaching students
We're all so quiet.
at the Manning School in Golden.
I love helping kids. That's what I love to do. You're doing a lot of thinking on another boy's turn.
He started a nonprofit
You know my brain.
to launch a statewide tournament
Okay, checkmate.
for everyone.
Good game. I feel because I am disabled that I get treated differently than everyone else. I don't know why. Well, I'm going to help the kids or adults, whatever, with disabilities feel like they are heard.
Griffin wants to expand his business,
Let's get started.
working as a professional chess coach.
And now you're leaving off this beautiful diagonal.
Time to risk it for the biscuit.
He wants to travel the world playing chess.
Everyone's got these excuses for why they don't accomplish things, but that never stops you.
He might have half a brain, but he has plans for a full life.
Oh my gosh. No!
A life that can only be complete
What are you gonna do about it?
as a pair.
Huh? Huh? We're gonna be like really, really tired, really, really old, and we're like, want to play a game, and we're like, sure. Were you gonna make 2 moves?
When it comes to a brother who is almost lost,
Why would you do that?
one is better than none.
We are competitive, but when we're really, deep in a relationship, it's more so of just love, right?
I feel obligated to crush you, but I can't.
With photojournalist Ann Herbst,
If somebody plays something bad, the key is
Play
do
bad.
exactly what they do.
Nelson
because then
Garcia.
they
But
can't-
do it worse.
9 News.
Well, if you do it worse, then it doesn't work.